So what's needed now is, delivering on our promises, and a generation, a committed generation is needed in Africa to change the whole process and then transform our continent. So then, we have the blueprint, and we have to negotiate with our global partners on our existing blueprints to our interest. No one is coming for charity. Every country coming to Africa. We do have China Africa, FOCAC. We do have TICAD. We do have Saudi Africa. We do have Turkey Africa. We do have, Gulf Africa. You can mention. There is no major power globally this time who is not trying to partner with Africa. This is an opportunity for us Africans. We should come up with our own strategy how to deal with these different stakeholders coming to deal with us. And we know it's a win-win. Everyone wants benefit out of that partnership. And it's a give and take process. But we are not ready to go for that. We still go as 54 countries to negotiate with that Africa conferences and bilateral dealings. So we need a strong African Union which represents all the African countries, can negotiate with our partners properly. So I think that's where we are. It's an opportunity as far as I am concerned. But there are unwarranted interferences, like for example in Libya. We Africans, we said we will handle the Libyan case. So we sent our leaders as a team to Libya to negotiate and handle this issue. But the superpowers came and destroyed Libya. And then afterwards they left, and Libya remains a destroyed country until today. So there are unwarranted interferences that has to be stopped. I think we have to speak out this boldly. So I think, but the main issue is the ball is in our court. We have to prepare ourselves to negotiate properly. We have to be capable enough to show and express our interests, because it is always a win-win process. So I think this is very important. And from some corner they might come and say, yeah, China is trying to exploit Africa. So some of the Western powers, they come and tell us that you have to get rid of China. But we say, look, there is one survey which has been made by the African Barometer in 34 African countries. So the interest of Africans is 63% of Africans want China's influence on Africa. And similarly, by the same token, 60% of Africans also want US to involve in African development and security. So that all shows, it's almost balanced figure, which shows that Africans, they don't care whether the cat is black or white, but we only need that the cat should catch the mice. The whole thing is, I think we should be true to ourselves. First of all, I see that the problem is not external per se. The main problem is internal, and we have to address our internal problem within Africa before pinpointing to others, external forces. When I say this, I think we have no problem in identifying problems, identifying the causes. But our problem is we are not capable enough to deliver on what we have already said to ourselves. We have a very important and landmark blueprint, which we call Agenda 2063. Chairperson of the Commission, the then chairperson is here, and that has been drafted in an inclusive way, making our citizens taking part in the process of having that blueprint. But the problem is since she left office. Now it is, I think, 8 years, almost 8 years, and the implementation of that blueprint still remains to be very slow, and it has not been as it was expected. So as the generals were saying, there is a need to transform our governance and leadership, and there is a need for political commitment, not only commitment, as Baba was always saying, political action in our continent. That's the main reason. I know that daughter of Kwame Nkrumah is with us here, and our icon has said African solutions to African problems. But since then, are we true to ourselves that we are solving our own problems without external interventions? So I think that's the main question. Our problem is a delivery problem. It's not about understanding what has to be done. So to me, unless otherwise we address the basic issue of the problem of our own people, like poverty, marginalization, or all those things which has been mentioned earlier, which I don't want to repeat because they are always there in the literature and everybody knows them. But the main issue is which countries and leaders are delivering on those promises to the people. I was always hoping when opposition, which is always exposing the ruling party's deficiencies, when they come to power, I expect that they deliver on those issues. But the same thing happens. And it's always vicious. So we should be true to ourselves. Be it opposition or ruling in Africa, I think the whole issue is we are not true to ourselves. I expect the new generation will come up and deliver on the promises to our people. I think, people has come to streets. Street action has been taking place throughout Africa. And there are government changes taking place in many countries in Africa. But because there is no leadership, those public actions, including the Arab Spring,